Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another hobby stuff video where I go over hobby supplies, resources, or tools. And this is how to paint Citadel miniatures from Games Workshop as a hobby resource. This would be the third edition, if you will, of this book from Games Workshop. I own the other two. I think I've done videos of the other two as well. And pretty much they update the book whenever the new paints come out. Or, a sizable chunk of new paints come out, I guess. The first book is pretty much, well, the first one I have. There may be an edition prior to that, but I don't recall it. The first one I have was back when the paint said inks, and did not have, it was pre-foundation and pre-Citadel washes and all that. So that's pretty much the first book's age. The second one came out after, I believe, the Citadel washes came out. So they got rid of their inks, they picked up foundation paints, and then they did washes. So that's the second book, kind of like an update there. And this third book, this third edition, came out with the release of the new paint set, which is very good. You have everything ready to go. It's designed and works with the new paint set, so you have everything updated and ready to go. And that's where we're standing now. Now, all three incarnations are good books. These are actual really good books to get, especially if you're new to painting. Now, this one brings a couple of changes. First off, the back cover opens up like this, so you can stand it up with the spiral backing, and most of the pages being horizontal like this. It's good. The whole idea is you can stand it up and flip to the page you want to either reproduce or read up on while you're doing a technique, and have it ready to go without you having to hold it open while you paint. Basically, it stays out of your way, so you don't get any paint on it or anything like that, and it keeps your hands free to just paint instead of holding a book open with one hand or propping the book open with other stuff. So that's pretty cool. And also, while standing up there, actually takes up a smaller footprint than a book laid out. So even if this book just had the spiral backing and you open it up, it's a much bigger footprint on the table than if it was standing up. Also, as you can see on the cover in the top right, it includes a DVD. Now, the DVD is basic, just like this book, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. In this book, the DVD has an introduction, then it has preparing your models, base coating, washing, dry brushing, layering, glazing, basing, applying transfers, batch painting ideas. Then it gives you two examples of a model being painted up utilizing techniques. The first is Highfleet Kraken, really. And then Space Marines Aurora chapter. And after that, you just have the credits and the summary and all that. I've had this book for a while, actually, since it came out. But I haven't had time until just recently to watch the DVD. And I wanted to watch the DVD in its entirety, on top of just looking through this book, to talk about both ends, because this is really a package deal. It comes with a DVD. And first I want to say, it's a good book, a good DVD. It's an introductory book. You're learning how to paint these miniatures up. It's not going to teach you object source lighting. It's not going to teach you non-metallic metals. It's not going to teach you anything crazy in that regard. How to do the cool power weapon effects. It's not going to teach you that. What it is going to teach you is what you need to know to get an army painted. So each individual model will look good, and then together as an army it'll look great. And then from here, it establishes a good foundation. And from what you'll learn here, you can build up and try different techniques. And it goes right from the beginning. It goes from prepping your models, assembling plastic miniatures, and fine cast. It does not go over pewter. Games Workshop is moving away from pewter, so they're not really covering that here. So you're getting next to no pewter knowledge, which if that's what you're looking for, you're going to be a little disappointed. Although you can still take the painting techniques and everything that you learn here and apply it to a pewter model, but pewter assembly, they don't really go into at all here. And clearly, this is Games Workshop oriented. It's going to use Citadel products. The paints, the tools, it's going to use Games Workshop miniatures for Lord of the Rings, Warhammer Fantasy, and Warhammer 40k. So, if you play one of those games, and I do, this is a great resource because you're utilizing the miniature itself, which can be helpful for people because, if I can see a technique being applied to some model, right? But if I'm not used to the model or anything like that, if I don't really know what it's supposed to look like painted up in that particular scheme, I may find it kind of hard to see what's going on a bit, personally. And maybe some of you are the same. And if you're the same, then let's say you play Space Marines or whatever, seeing Space Marines being painted up, that's something you've handled and done yourself. That can be helpful for you. Just get a better grasp of what they're trying to tell you because you understand how it works and affects that particular model. So that is very good. However, even if you don't play a Games Workshop game, you can still make good use of the techniques and tips and tricks they teach you here. So yes, you're not getting the full experience, if you will, if you don't play a Games Workshop game. But if this is at your hobby store and you need a how to paint thing, it's definitely worth considering. You can make use of it regardless of what miniatures you're painting up. Of course, if you don't use those paints, not that big of a deal either. You can utilize whatever paints you have, just applying the techniques. Nothing really to worry about there. Red is now I want to say red is red. There are different shades of red, of course, but what they're teaching you for doing red or doing edge highlighting or anything like that, you can do with any colors once you get the basics. So not that big of a deal. With that being said, the DVD just covers the basics, like I said in the chapters of the DVD. This book does the same thing as well, but it goes a little bit more into certain techniques. It does go into a little bit about weathering the model a little. I can't find it now, obviously, but it goes into weathering the model a little bit with chips and things like that, like chipping the armor, little things like that. Nothing crazy. It's not going to teach you how to make a model look heavily weathered. It's not going to do that, but the book does go over some camo pattern ideas, how to apply camouflage patterns to your tanks for Imperial Guard or Tau even, which the DVD does not go over. So that's where the book kind of shines a bit, and where the DVD shines is, of course, it's showing you how to do stuff like in real time. And having the two together is a very nice combo that you don't often get in the how to paints for our miniature painting line. Now, I own a couple of other how to paint DVDs, and once I get the DVDs in order and kind of freshen up on them, I may do a video on those as well. But this is a good product. It's put out by a big professional company, so the production quality is there. You can see numerous close-in detailed shots of the miniatures when they're showing you how to do things. In the DVD, you're getting a nice tight video angles, so you always have the model in view and you're able to see what the painter is doing, which is always good. So production quality is there. Content is there. Now, the way the book works is there's a lot of high def, I should say, pictures, and blurbs here and there, and as well as explaining certain techniques, and then shows you it in progress. And that's good, but some people don't learn very well that way, or they don't learn at their best potential that way. And seeing it done in real time, in addition to having these references to look at in the book, is a very powerful resource to have, especially for getting the basics down, because the basics are what are so important. Understanding and being confident with it, being able to dry brush, use washes, use glazes even, layering the paint down. Being confident with doing that is very important for trying to get to the later stage of painting, if you will, doing object source lighting or non-metallic metals. Having a good foundation and being confident in your foundation is important. So that's why I think this book is pretty good and is worth checking out. The book also has a variety of examples later on. Once they show you everything, they have a bunch of example army projects, 8 of them. They give you a Space Marine, a Tyrannid, they give you an Orc from the Orcs and Goblins of Warhammer Fantasy. You get Tomb Kings, Dark Elves, Lord of the Rings Gondor, Harad, which I believe is Lord of the Rings as well, and the Empire of fantasy. So different type of models, different techniques that would be applied to them primarily. Like you would paint up a Space Marine different than you would paint up a Tomb King skeleton, for example. Um, Stuff like that, which is pretty cool because it shows you the different techniques and application kind of at the same time, if you will. Not at the same time, but actually being done to a model, not just showing you here's how you do layering on cloth or whatever. It's not just showing you that, now it's showing you here's the model, it's base coded, it's what you do here from steps 1 to end, pretty much. So, having the book, having the DVD together is a very nice thing. I like to see stuff happen in real time, which is why I was glad to see a DVD included. And the book is also very nice because you can watch a DVD, pause it, rewind, watch it as much as you want, and then you can have the book open to that particular section, paint, and have the pictures there as a reference to easily look at instead of having to go to the DVD again. So the two work hand in hand together. You could utilize one without the other, but I think you'd be kind of missing the point. Definitely worth utilizing both together. And that's pretty much it. I would say overall it's a good book. I like it. Again, for you advanced painters out there, you're probably not getting too much out of this. But for people who have just been into painting for a little bit or just getting into the hobby, definitely worth considering. And there are other how to paint resources out there, of course. But I do think, don't just hate it because it's Games Workshop. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Um, and that's it. So until next time, take it easy.